What's going on, everyone? My name is Eric, and today on the channel we are going to be checking out the brand new Jackson Christian Andreau Pro Plus signature guitar. This is the recent evolution of the Christian Andreau signature series from Jackson Guitars. If you don't know who Christian is, he is one of the guitar players in Gojira, which is a pioneering metal band from France. This guitar being at the Pro Plus series is right before you get to the USA production line and the USA custom shop, and it is above the Pro line. So there are a lot of awesome features on this guitar, and I've had a good amount of time to set this guitar up, hang out with it, and just kind of see what this whole thing's about, so I'm going to give you my unbiased opinion. Let's get into it. All of these guitars have a basswood body. This one has a three-piece maple neck-through design on the Randy Rose shape. Very iconic shape. This guitar introduces the Evertune to the series. We also have a Fishman Modern open core pickup. We have a mini toggle down here to access all three of the voicings on the Fishman Fluence pickup. One volume down here. That's kind of all you need for really playing Gojira, a bridge pickup and a volume knob. That's pretty much it. We got a 25.5-inch scale design, classic Jackson design, 24 stainless steel frets, ebony fingerboard, 12 to 16 compound radius, and it feels really good. And what that means is that the frets down here and the fingerboard is much more rounder, and it helps for chording and makes those shapes feel much easier. And the fingerboard gets flatter as you go up the fingerboard to make soloing much easier. So you have a really nice blend of rhythm and lead playing on these Jackson guitars, or any guitar that has a compound radius. Going up to the headstock here, we just have a reverse headstock, which looks fantastic on the Rhodes body. It really looks awesome. Jackson die-cast locking tuners, they do the job. They hold really well. I haven't had any issues with them. No parts have failed. Feels really good. We have an unbranded plastic nut up here. Would have been nice to see like a Graphtec nut, but you know, it is what it is. The strings are a little high here just based on the headstock design, so I would recommend you throw a little bit of foam down here just to get rid of that sympathetic vibration that can come when you are recording, just to quiet the guitar down a little bit. Otherwise, we got fingerboard binding all over the guitar, body binding in the terms of paint, and this nice two-tone white and black finish, output jack right down here. The guitar comes with strap locks from the factory, which is really nice as well. We got lumen lace side dots on the guitar. Those are gonna light up and make it easier for you to play if you are on a dark stage, then you can actually see where you're going. We got these really sweet inlays here. It's like these upside down reverse, like hollowed out shark fin inlays. Very cool, and I don't think I've seen these on any other Jackson or Charvel guitar for the most part, and it's really cool to see it on this. This is a really awesome aesthetic, and the guitar looks really awesome, even though it is in like this gloss black, which is a fingerprint magnet, and it's a giant reflector. As you can see, I got my light and my camera right there. Otherwise, this thing looks awesome. This is a really awesome looking guitar. It feels really good as well. We also have the truss rod adjustment right at the heel down here. Really nice, really easy to get to. You don't have to take a plastic cover off and throw an Allen wrench or one of those hex wrenches in there. You can just toss a little Allen wrench down here, move it side to side. It's awesome. This guitar also ships with 10 to 56 gauge strings, and this one showed up to my friend who owns this in standard E tuning, and 10 to 56 on a 25.5-inch scale is pretty heavy for standard E. I initially tuned it down to drop C, which is kind of where he wanted the guitar, and they felt pretty good for that tuning. Again, that's a tuning that Gojira uses, so that's probably what Christian uses. Felt really good. Ultimately, the guitar was sent out to him, played it for a little bit. We then went in a different direction with a different tuning and different strings as well. Now, I didn't document the whole like setup process and how it was to set this brand new guitar up, or anything that I noticed as a guitar tech when taking on some of these brand new guitars, but I will talk about my experience after we hear how this guitar sounds, which is what we're gonna do right now. right, so now let's get to my final thoughts and what it was like to actually live with this guitar. Now, I gotta say, this guitar, in terms of the sound and how the guitar plays, this guitar sounds awesome. The Fishman Modern is a, industry standard at this point. It's the brand new EMG 81, if you will. Like, this is what a lot of metal players are really going for. The Evertune, it's a great innovation as well. Keeps your guitar from going out of tune. Has a lot of flexibility as well, especially being able to have the strings not even bend or change pitch at all. That's a pretty cool thing. The fretboard access on this guitar, it's kind of standard for a Rhodes. I'm gonna notice like my hand is kind of hugging the body to get to some of these different spots. So that's kind of a thing you might have to deal with on the guitar. The 12 to 16 degree compound radius does feel really good. But again, up here, it's not like what you would notice with like an ESP SV where there is the dedicated cutout for your hand to actually sit here a little bit more comfortably. This is also a Rhodes guitar. It's kind of only meant to be played standing up or in the classical position. You can't really play it like this because it's just gonna be sliding off your body. So those are some things to keep in mind as well. The aesthetics of the guitar look pretty awesome. I mean, say what you will about gloss black. It is a fingerprint magnet. The white that goes against it and the white fretboard binding that goes all around the guitar is a really nice touch. So it's not just like, a guitar that can blend into anything else, especially with an extreme shape like this. It's nice to have some of these bevels that are accenting the body curvatures and everything like that. Neck feels really comfy. It's your classic Jackson, like, shred neck profile. I don't think they really have a name for it. It's a Jackson neck. It feels really good. The Jackson locking tuners, they hold tuning. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, Evertune's kind of doing most of the work here, so you don't really need to have brand name tuners when you have an Evertune that's doing the heavy lifting. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I would recommend running some foam under the strings right here just to quiet down that sympathetic vibration. But there were some things that I noticed that just don't sit right with me for this guitar, and especially at the price it's retailing at, which is $2,400 USD. The first thing I want to mention is that the area around the truss rod access wheel, it looks like it was honestly cut with a butter knife. This thing is pretty bad for $2,400 USD. And this is like the import line flagship guitar, if you will, before you get to the USA production and the USA custom shop. This is pretty rough for a guitar that is CNC'd. So everything is programmed and done by a computer. So I have no idea what's going on down here, but this is pretty rough for $2,400 And the other thing that I'm noticing on the guitar is the actual like lumen lace side dots that are on the guitar, just the side dots in general, they're not really lined up or level with each other. You're gonna notice on screen that some of these lumen lace side dots are just kind of going up and down. They're not really in line with each other, or at least with the fretboard binding and where that matches the paint on the back of the neck. So that's something that kind of doesn't sit well with me in terms of attention to detail. And one final thing about the guitar, looking at the fretboard binding on the guitar, you could see that there are some tooling marks in there, which I have never seen on any sort of guitar with fretboard binding. Usually fretboard binding is there to kind of hide off a little bit of the, like the bad fret ends on maybe some less expensive guitars, but I've never seen some of the tooling marks that are on the top of the fretboard binding right by the fretboard wood here than just on this guitar. It's pretty rough. So it's really disappointing to see like 3, points of quality control that are negative on this guitar for something that's retailing for $2,400. But it's hard to say since a lot of my friends who have bought brand new Jackson guitars have experienced similar quality control issues with Jackson guitars, even at the USA production standard. Now, I hope this is just a one-off and this is not a representation of all of the Pro Plus models or all of the import Jackson guitars that are going out of the Jackson, quality control line to then dealers or right to buyers. But it's just very unfortunate that this is an expensive guitar. My buddy saved up a ton of money for it, and then I'm noticing these things, and it's just unfortunate. It doesn't really sit well with me. Would I recommend it? I don't know. I think I would have to try a couple more of these just to see if some of these quality control issues are dialed out, and hopefully this is just a one-off, maybe a lemon, if you will. Outside of this guitar sounds awesome. The Evertune's a great product as well, despite it being a little wonky with your string gauges, which is just a normal thing of it. It sounds awesome. The neck on this guitar is super comfy. The aesthetics on this guitar are pretty deadly as well. I mean, look at this thing. It's just very unfortunate that we're kind of rolling the dice on quality control at this price point that I personally have not experienced on other guitars, such as used Jacksons or even used guitars from other brands that are at the same price point, or even brand new guitars from other brands at the same price point. So take that for what you will. Not sure if this is where my $2,400 is gonna go, knowing that this is kind of what's to be expected with some Jackson guitars right now. That's going to do it for today's video, checking out the brand new Christian Andreau Signature Pro Plus Jackson guitar. Let me know all thoughts and opinions down below on this guitar, and of course, the infamous Jackson quality control that seems to be kind of going around with a lot of the new guitars, especially for the prices that these things are rolling at. Let me know if you would grab one of these down below. If you want to learn more about these, I'm going to link to a couple sources where you can learn a little bit more about these guitars. If this is your first time checking out one of my videos, make sure you hit subscribe on your way out. I have tons more guitar reviews, guitar setup tutorials, Guitar Hero deep dives, and all things guitar on the channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss a single video that I upload. Thanks for checking this out, and I'll see you next time.